Hey guys, so I'm sure some of you remember a while, but let me turn the lights off so you don't get the light bulb glare. Alright, a while back I did a video on how I make quadraphonic recordings now. I've learned a lot since then. That was back in probably March or April, and I was doing the Billy Joel Glass Houses album, which actually did turn out to be one of my most popular quad mixes. So far, Pink Floyd The Wall was, but I've come a long way since then, and I have better ways and more like shortcuts and tricks of doing it, and it's a lot quicker. So I figured I would do an updated video for you guys on how exactly I do it. Now, typically, I mix using a set of quality headphones, and the reason I do that is because I believe that if it sounds good through a set of headphones, it's going to sound good through a stereo system. Tonight, though, however, let me turn the lights back on for you for 1 second. We are mixing a little bit differently so I can show you guys what exactly it is that I'm doing. Now, I have the HDMI from the laptop hooked up. I know I'm committing an audio felony right now by having, but it's cushioned on the bottom, don't worry. And we're listening through my favorite speakers, which are the Norman Laboratory Model 9s. That's going to be our reference tonight. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So I'll turn the lights back on when we're done, so I can go over everything. You know, if there's anything else that I'm missing or anything else I feel like I should touch up on or mention that I may have missed during the actual video. So I think I got you guys pretty square. You should be able to see pretty good. Get as close as I can here. Alright, so we're going to go lights off, and we are going to get started. I think that's pretty damn good right there, if I do say so myself. Alright, cool. Alright, so we're going to do a song. I was also, the reason I chose this is because for a while now I was waiting until I got a chance to do a song that had a lot going on, one I can do a pretty accurate and discrete mix on. Now, I already have the stems, as you can see right here. So for all intents and purposes, I'm going to go through the whole process for you, just so I could, you know, show you the whole process. So I use this program called DMix Pro version 5. You can get it off their website or Google it. It'll come up. It's pretty expensive, but for what you get, it's worth it. Like I said, we'll get through all that too. This all started from Quad Traders. There's a guy on there, I'm not going to mention his name out of respect, but he's very good. A lot better than I am at it, in my opinion. But you got to start somewhere, and like I said, I really think I'm getting better at it. But usually I do a lot of off-the-wall stuff, but I figure we do a song that everybody knows. So we're going to start with track 1 on the album. It's called Roll With The Changes. One of the best rock and roll songs of all time, in my opinion. I love it. So I used to go in right away and you would think, okay, well, we're going to open up DMix and we're just going to separate everything. Well, if you click on everything, what you're going to do is you're going to go through a lot of extra work for nothing. You can separate drums, and I do sometimes, but a lot of times, if I can leave drums and residual, I do, and I will explain why. I will. When you separate the drums and guitars too, sometimes the guitar is different. You get a little bit of static for like the last second at the end of the song. You just mute it, and at the end you're done. But drums, you get this little, what I call Dean calls it like I just said his name. Oh well. You get like an artifact, and it's a little annoying high-pitched sound. If you got moments of silence in the song, like where the drums ain't going on, you're going to get that artifact. And not only that, it's not only going to be in your drums, it's going to be in your residual too. And you can clean it out of your drums, no problem, but the residual clip's a lot harder to clean up because you have a lot of other stuff in there too. So first thing I do is listen to the song. And I'm going to get an idea of what I'm going to do with the song. Let me turn the volume down in case it comes on blaring. So you can tell right away you have a lot of piano. Acoustic guitar is also very prominent. You got some electric popping in. Okay, we got backup vocals. You're gonna want that in the rears, okay. Synthesizers. As much as I'd love to break that out, DMix does not have a way to split synthesizers up, which is an acoustic guitar too. So what I would usually do is I would take the synthesizer and move it around, like, you know, make it circle around a room or switch speakers a lot, but I can't really do that. So unfortunately, synthesizers and like keyboards, most horns and stuff like that, they're stuck in residual. So, but there's still a lot you can do. So there are some, okay, so we're going to lead it backing, because I did hear some backing vocals in there. Drums are going to leave in residual, so I won't get the artifact, but I do want the drums a little bit in the rear, just at a lower volume. So what we're going to do is, after it's done, we're going to go back through and apply separation from the residual clip. So there's obviously bass, electric guitar, piano. Roll with the changes doesn't have much as far as strings go, so we're going to let that alone. And we're going to start. And this is the part that takes a couple minutes, but like I said, it's not bad. Like I said, I'm going to show you the whole thing because I don't want to leave any stones unturned here. So it's going to extract the individual stems right now. Turn this light off too. It's glaring a little bit. There we go. I'm not going to hold it against you if you skip in a few minutes to skip this part. Like I said, I do already have the stems. In fact, while we're doing this, I can save a little bit of time. So all it's going to do is going to go through the track individually. And right now it's extracting both your lead and your backup vocals out. So we're going to go ahead and minimize this. We're going to open up Audacity. Audio stems is a folder we're getting them out of. And again, this is just to save time. I'll go back periodically, and when, you know how I said I go back and extract the drums out of the residual? The drumming is in the residual, but I took the drums out of the residual with this just to get a solid drum track, and I'll show you that too. But right now we're going to open up everything in Audacity. And the best part about Audacity, it's free. Now, Roll with the Changes starts off with drums immediately, right off the bat, so you might not even hear that artifact that I'm talking about in this one, but I guarantee it's probably going to be toward the end. 99% of the songs have the artifact when you separate drums. You just got to edit it out. So we'll start with residual first. Okay, it didn't have the artifact. Gets real loud right here, it looks like, so you probably get weird synthesizers kick in. Yep. I know it sounds funny right now, but let's add the vocals in so you can, like right now it sounds a little odd, right? Unmute the vocal. It's your just electric guitar. Here's just your drums. And this also allows you to, now the drums on this record sound wonderful, so I'm not going to mess with it at all. I just kick the stand a little bit. But if I wanted to, let's say the drums were pretty muddy, and I wanted to add some bass to it, or some treble to it. You go up to here, the EQ and filters, and you're only editing the EQ. Like I said, the last time I did, I added 4 decibels of treble to it. But you're not messing with the whole song, you're only messing with the individual stem. You hear that got a lot stronger with the treble. Actually, it probably sounds a little bit better that way, but we're not really going to mess with it much of anything. I would do that in the undo bass and treble. As you see, it goes down a little bit. If anything, I would do that to the residual clip, but I'm not going to. This, like I said, I got it off a quality 2-channel source, so we're going to remain, I always try to remain as true to the original as possible. If you want to hear just the bass. Give it some volume here so you can hear it. Now bass is almost always a mono track. So obviously we're going to put bass in the front, so Let's get that typed in. And the reason I do that, I'll explain it when we get to that point, is to make it makes it easier to do the exportation. Drums, these are going to be in the rears, obviously, because and what I also do with the drums when I do that, being that this doesn't have the artifact, which I'm kind of disappointed it doesn't, for the sole purpose of I was going to show you what I do to get rid of it. It might, hang on. Nope. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll show you a song that does have the artifact for sure. We'll do that last though. Very important, otherwise when you export you're going to hear it in the finished work and it's very annoying. Sometimes I listen to my early stuff and it's like, man, I really got to go back and fix that. So we're going to start by unmuting everything. We'll listen to the whole song as it is. God, it's a good freaking jam. All right, so we're already decided what we're gonna do with the bass. The extra drums are gonna go in the rear. Now we're not gonna have it the same volume because then what's gonna happen is your drums are gonna be overpowering. So I actually tone them down by 10 decibels. I know that sounds like a lot, but when your drums are full force in the front, you don't need them full force in the rear. So just give it that a little bit of extra rock and roll feeling in the back, in my opinion. Electric guitar, we're going to be in the rears. In fact, I got to see if the artifact for the electric guitar is there, which it looks like it might be. Find out in a second. Doesn't look like it, actually. Hang on, might not be. Hang on. Nope. Good, so this is going to be a very clean recording. That's awesome. I mean, I kind of wish it was there just so I could show you guys what I'm talking about, but... wow. That doesn't happen very often. So this is actually going to be a very good example. Alright. Drums, okay. Electric guitars are going to be in the rears. Lead vocals are obviously up front, but for simplicity purposes. Backup vocals are where it gets a little hairy sometimes. You see that? This is where the backup vocals are going to be really prominent, right in here. This is actually still the front vocals. It's just they split up Kevin's voice a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give Kevin's whole voice back to him, and I'm gonna show you how to do that in a second here. But non-lead vocals, your main non-lead vocals or your backups is gonna be in your rear channels. Oop. That's my OCD kicking in. Piano. This is a very piano-heavy track. Alright, pianos, I'm going to throw those in the rears. And your residual, most instances the residual is your rear clip, but in this instance I'm actually throwing the residual up front. So what I go ahead and do when I have this together is to make it easier when I do the mixing and exporting. Move track to top, I'll leave that in the bottom. Rear, okay, the front one, that's going to move up to the top. Rear again. So most of them are actually in the rears. Bass, move track to top. Okay, so all of our fronts are up top, all of our rears are on the bottom. So as I was saying here, let's take a look at Kevin's voice quick. Whoop, I don't want to do that. On the brink of, my cup is on the table. I love this feeling. Waiting here for you to take them. Just don't sound right. Now where the lead vocals are, where the backup vocals are really going to come into play is down here when you get, this might be something, but probably not. Nope. Not until you get here. There we go. All right, that's what we want up and want exclusively to the rear. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna go back to the whole project, double click that, copy this track here, right click down the bottom, add stereo track, and paste it. And this one's gonna go up front. I know what you're thinking. Why am I putting the backup vocals in the front and in the rear? But here's the thing, I'm not. This right here is where the keep on rolling part starts, okay, right? Okay, so it looks like from there on out, yeah, okay, from here on out, these are all legit backup vocals. So we're gonna go right about here, where it starts, which is right in between here. Yep, okay. Now you can, what I used to do was drag all the way back, but I realized you got a nice little tool down here. I can go right to the zero, put all zeros in, and what that did was that selected my whole entire track. Now I kind of did this the opposite way I was supposed to, but that's okay. You guys get the idea. We're gonna silence it. Amplify it by 50, then go ahead and hit Control, repeat a couple times and make sure there's no bleed back. So that's your front vocals. Your non-lead vocal, but your the part that's gonna be in the front, because it's Kevin's voice that he kind of exaggerated with the separations a little bit. So we're gonna move that back to the top because it's part of the front channels. Go to your real lead vocals and do what I did already, and that was click right in here where it starts with the keep on rolling. Keep on rolling. And now we're gonna do the and we're just gonna do Control repeat a couple times because I already did that, you know. And that's it. So here's your rear backup vocals. Let's go check on our D mix, see how we're doing. Okay, we're done. So non-lead vocals right here. Here's what we were just looking at in Audacity, but before the split. You can't tell me that ain't awesome. You can hear it switch from left to right. There's your piano work and your residual. Now what I'm going to do here is we're going to, let's say you want some drums for the back too. You're going to apply separation and then take your drums from the residual, because you're going to use this residual clip for the mix, and we're going to discard the next residual clip we're going to get when it's done separating the drums. Like I said, I know it sounds like a lot, but once you do this a few times, it's actually really easy. And honestly, the mixes that are being made by diehard fans like myself, guys like Dean, there's a couple guys that do this in our Quad Traders group, and there's a group called the Quadraphonic Underground that you can do this stuff on too, and it is great. I mean, it takes mixes that don't exist, or you know, music that was only ever existed in the stereo, and really opens it up. You can hear it. That's what Quad's about. A lot of people will tell you that Quad's gimmicky or whatever, and by that train of thought, so is stereo, because the idea of stereo is splitting the instruments up, giving you a nice image to make it sound like you're there. And Quad's doing the same thing, but just, in my opinion, a more effective job at it, because you have that actual separation there. And if you can get good stereo imaging in the front and the rears, God, there's some Quad mixes that are amazing. And there's some of them that it's like, there's some bad Quad mixes back in the day, but not nearly as many as there are bad 5.1 mixes now. Now I can listen to 5.1 on here too. I got the Oppo 203 that I just turned the front, you know, the back or the center channel off and mix it into the front. So now if you look here, now you have just your drums. Go ahead and unmute this guy. See what I'm doing? And if you look, here's your residual clip without the drums. It's mostly your acoustic guitar. Here's going to be your synthesizers and keyboards are going to be down here. Alright, so now what you do is, like I said, you're not going to use this residual clip, so I just go ahead and delete it, because all you needed was your drums, you know, separated from your original residual. So I'm going to go here, we're going to select this whole group here, then you export it. I export in 24 and 9624 FLAC stereo. because these are individual stereo files, and you can split them up to mono tracks if you want to in the end, but I don't like to mess with the original image, so I don't usually do that. Unless I'm working with the mono recording, then that's a totally different animal. And when I get to the animals, I'm going to make a quad mix of some of the animals music. That's where it gets really difficult, because obviously if you just take just the drums, put it in one speaker, the guitar in one speaker, the bass in one speaker, Eric Burden's vocals in one speaker, it's going to sound goofy. So you really got to get creative in the way that you're going to be mixing it up. So this is the wrong track. This is going to be roll with the changes. So we'll go with Ario stems right here where it says roll with the changes. Now obviously I already have the files in there, but now they're going to be in there twice. So select folder, you're exporting the roll with the changes, which is what you want. Like I said, I already did do this, but I'm doing this to show you guys. And you're going to export the whole entire song. It does not take long to do that. I could have made this a lot quicker, but I'm not trying to rush. I want to make sure that I cover everything and explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it every step of the way for you. All right, so we're done. We can close D-Mix now. Now usually I'll do the whole album, but which I'm going to. I'm going to do the whole album tonight. I already did it though. As far as extracting the stems, I just figured that this would be a golden opportunity to me to do the video for you that I wanted to do for a long time now. So we are actually ready to mix this. It's ready to go. We checked for the artifacts. There's nothing really crazy in here. Real quiet guitar work. Alright, so we have everything separated. Make sure you have all your channels unmuted, otherwise it'll screw you up when you go to the export. So, file export, export audio. I have level 5, 24-bit depth. And we're going to export it right to the regular desktop. We're going to call this track 1, obviously, roll the changes. Alright, here's your mixing. Now, do you see why I like to label everything? Because otherwise it'll be a clusterfuck. I mean, you can do it that way, but it's going to be a lot more difficult and you're more likely to make a mistake. Now we have it pretty much bulletproofed. I'm assuming you guys can read that. Assuming so, right? No, maybe? I can't tell really. Hopefully, oh yeah, okay. Hopefully you can. But if not, you still get the idea. Alright, so as you see, it's already set for output channel 8, which is default. So that's actually a 7.1 file. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to say, well, it's a quad file. Why are you exporting as 6 channels? Well, let me explain. This is your channel 1 is your front left. Channel 2 is your front right. Channel 3 is your center. Channel 4 is your subwoofer. Channel 5 is your rear left. Channel 6 is your rear right. So we're going to leave the center and subchannels blank. Now, you might be asking, why don't you just export as a 4-channel file, right? A 4-channel file, although a lot of Blu-ray players will play them, actually I think all the software programs, some of the guys hook computers up to their quad systems and then they can play the files off their computer. Me, I don't. I export to my hard drive and run my freaking hard drive through my Blu-ray player. That way I can pick everything with the remote, what I want to listen to. Now, if you're exporting as a 4.0 file, which most Blu-ray players can't play them, so you have a compatibility issue. In other words, some people can play your files, some people can't. Well, that's no fun, right? You want everybody to be able to play them. So I export as a 5.1 file. But if you were doing a quad file, it would just be the same except for no center and no sub. So you'd have front left, front right, rear left, rear right. But we're exporting as 5.1 for equipment compatibility reasons, because every Blu-ray player can play 5.1 files. And if you're wondering if people are using the newer systems, most people I think use analog outs, which is my opinion is better, but I'm pretty sure the modern systems, if you're using fiber optic or if you're going through HDMI, 99% positive that most of them, if it's multi-channel FLAC capable, it's still going to play it the way it's supposed to sound. So front left, channel 1, front left, front left, front left, front left. Go to channel 2, which is front right. So we're going to click on all the front right, front right, front right, and front right. Going to go down to the rear left. Do the same thing. Rear left, rear left, rear left, rear left. Go to the rear right channel, click on right, 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 right. You go to OK. Now here's where your tags are. Now I put some of them in here because I'm going to do them all now just to show you this. But usually when I'm doing a whole album, I will only put the track title. Well, with the changes, it's track number 1. And comments, I always do this because I'm a very nostalgic guy. So today's date, oh, it's actually the 14th now. 10-14-2024 at 12:06 a.m. is when this track was born. RAS is my initials. Program used was DMix Pro V5 and Audacity. Period. And okay. Now what I do, it takes a couple seconds, don't take long to export. What I do now is I open a file, and the reason I open a file is because as much as I do it, I can and do still make mistakes. And in the past, I have made a mistake and didn't realize it, and I've actually uploaded an album where I had a problem with one of the tracks, and that's not cool. I know a lot of guys are really cool about it. They don't really care because I do correct it. I do. But at the same time, in my opinion, it shouldn't have happened to begin with. I'm a lot harder on myself than I am everybody else. I think most people would agree with that as far as you know, they go. We all hold ourselves to a higher standard than other people do. So this is a folder for the whole album. So it's REO Speedwagon. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. That's hilarious. I always thought that was funny. I remember the first time I heard Roll With The Changes. It was on, oh God, I was probably 11 or 12. We had a classic rock station. It was 94.5 The Hawk, WTHK, out of Trenton, serving in Trenton and Philadelphia. And I lived in Levittown, at least my dad still did, and I would listen to that station all the time because they would play all kinds of classic rock that you didn't get played all the time. Roll With The Changes is not like a deep track by any means, but it does not come on all the time. So for example, let's say for this album, let's check an album that I already did just so I can show you. I already did the Rhinestones in 4.0. Actually, I gotta put the 4.0 identification down here. Alright, so we're going to do we'll stick with the topic first. So we're going to put this into a program called MP3 Tag, which is this program right here. In fact, as you can see, the album information, I already did this album. So the comments are all different. So that's why I kind of do it a little bit differently. So we're going to put REO Speedwagons, the whole folder that I just created, right in the MP3 tag. It's only going to have one song for now because that's all I did, obviously. So usually you'd have all 9 tracks, so you would select, you know, the whole thing, they'd all light up. The comment, the track number, and the track title are already in there, so you don't have to worry about that. This is where I edit everything else. REO Speedwagon. So what I'm going to do is TO Speedwagon. I invented a new band here. Like I said, I'm kind of in an awkward position right now. We're just going to paste it. Disc number 1, it's only one disc. Do I have the, I don't think I do have it yet. Nope. Alright, cool. I can show you how I get that too. And I know what you guys are going to think. You guys are going to laugh here. Come on. Just going to do that, do half of that. A lot of things I type in Spotify, but hear me out. This is why I do it. Spotify always has high resolution photos in 640 by 640. So there's your album title, right? There's your album cover right there. So I do it, and it's already in JPEG. See? So I just typed in REO Zoom 8. I'm not going to type in the whole thing. Like I said, I'll show you how I'm doing this, but I'm like off to the side with my arms in front of the... It's real difficult right now, actually. I'm not going to lie. we're going to save that. Exit out of that because we're continue downloading. Okay, it's downloaded. Close out of that. Yes, save the changes. Got to roll with the changes. Add album cover. It's going to be under downloads, which is right here. So now you're going to click out of that, save the changes. So now the album art and all these tags are actually embedded in the file itself, and you're not going to be able to get rid of it without, you know, the software. So you're not going to accidentally get rid of it. This is an album was from 1978. I'm actually doing Good Trouble, 9 Lives. What the hell are two that are already freaking? I gotta do, yeah, Oreo 2 and the Oreo 1 never had quad mixes. Lost in a Dream did. And I'm kicking myself in the ass right now because I cannot for the life of me. Hang on. I'm having a right the tip of my tongue too. It's my favorite one of my favorite albums by them. Oh, This Time We Mean It. Duh. Yeah, This Time We Mean It and Lost in a Dream already have a quad mix. So I'm obviously not going to do those. And they actually sound really good. They're available on Super Audio CD and Quad A-Track by Dutton Vicalian. Obviously, what to type in, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. One more time. And I will put I'll put the link for the download in the description in one of the comments of the actual video. So if you actually do want to hear this in person, how it's supposed to sound, you guys will be able to download it. All right, and I'll show you that too. So here's our file. We're gonna X out of that. Let's say, oh, you can actually see it now. The album art's actually in here. Roll with the changes. So we're gonna just double check our work. MP3 tag. Click on it. Good. All of our titles are still there. And if you actually download this, you'll actually see this comment right here. Now I'm going to open it up in Audacity just for shits and giggles, just to double check the work. We're going to listen to each channel at the time, make sure it sounds right. I'm going to put them in mono. We'll make sure we're not clipped at all. We shouldn't be. It looks like it's actually right at 0 dB for the peak. Yep. Good. Right now we're listening to just the rear left channel. Rear right channel. That's your rear left channel. Your rear right channel, so you can see. They both sound different. Skip down there. So there you go. There's your 4 channels of discrete audio. Let's get down to some of your backup vocals. Here's everything. That's all 4 channels. So you're listening to the whole song in mono right now. But yeah, rear, front left, front right, rear left, and rear right. All right, so I'd say that was a success. So what we're gonna do now is we're done with the computer. Well, at least for you guys, I got to do the rest of mix the rest of the freaking album yet. And the whole album should be done in a couple hours. But that's what I do. I do it for every song. So, like I said about that artifact. Now let's hear this. I will show you that because it's very important. we're going to open up the drums for Time For Me to Fly, which is track 2, another incredible song. Actually, this whole album's pretty good. Oh, that's because when I did it with you guys the second time, we exported the album, that track twice. So Time For Me to Fly, here's your drums. Again, I did it separately from the residual. Didn't have it either. Okay, this looks like it might be it right here. Making a liar out of me. Anything in recycling? Ah, rhinestone stems, okay. What I'll do is, just so I can show you. Drums, okay. And also we're going to import the residual from that clip as well. Because I know for a fact this had the artifact that I'm talking about. Alright, so go just to drums. That was it, right there. I know it doesn't sound like much. You hear it? Hang on, turn the volume up. That. And if you look, it's also in your residual. Alright, so here's what I do about this. The obvious way to do it is, for this particular instance, is just to go like this and, you know, just select the artifact and just simply delete it. Or not delete it because you'll fuck your times up. But volume and compression, amplify, minus, 50 dB, hit repeat one more time just to be safe, and go back. No more artifact. So you're good there. Now, let's say that you can't do that. Let's say the residual has music when that artifact hits, which is usually the case. Usually it's not that simple. So there's your artifact right there. So what I do is I zoom into the artifact, okay? Select the artifact. Amplify it for shits and giggles. So, and hear me out. I have my reasons. Amplify it by 15, so you can really see this artifact now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is Audacity has a very, very effective noise removal feature. It's a noise reduction, get noise profile. So what it's going to do is there's your noise profile. So it's what you're doing is you're setting the frequency that you're trying to filter out. What you're trying to filter out this annoying artifact sound right here, which is basically a byproduct of you separating the drums from the rest of the track. So I'm going to undo my amplify. That way everything's at regular pace right now. Effect, noise removal and repair, and you're going to apply it. I usually set to 30 decibels so it won't interfere with anything else. So you're applying to the whole track. No more artifact. You look here too, we'll zoom in one more time. Oop, no, damn it. Go back to the very beginning of the track. There's your artifact, okay? Now we're going to look at the whole track as a whole again. Select just residual. Effect, noise removal and repair, noise reduction, and apply. And you see you got a little bit of the artifact down here too, which actually might work out pretty good because it looks like I'll actually be able to show you the one for the guitar as well. So now when you go back to play it, you can do the drums twice for shits and giggles. Now that artifact will be in any quiet spot. So that artifact was actually going to be down here too toward the end. Now you play the drums back now. Nothing. Quiet as can be. This is actually one of the albums where the drums were muddy. So what I did was I went in here and added EQ, bass and treble. 4 dBs usually does it. And if you look here, you made it a little bit better. This one here actually looks like it has some noise on the residual from when I took the electric guitar out. I think it does. Let's hear it. Yep. If you look down here, and it's hard to see, you really have to listen to it because a lot of times it's so quiet that it doesn't show up on your sine waves. I can hear it though. And it's going to be really obvious when you hear it through your stereo, because your stereo is more revealing. So what you do for that is I just take this, and sometimes you're going to run into a situation where there's still music playing. Let's say your artifact sound started back here. You still got music, but let's say your artifact starts here. So what I'll do is I'll select a couple seconds before that. I'll go to Effect, Fade, and fade the track out a second or so early. So there you go, you fade it out, and you go here and you go to your Effect, Volume and Compression, Amplify, repeat it, you know, make sure it's actually out, and you'll see it, all it does is fade it out. So there you go, no artifact. Bam, done. Now, for all intents and purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the electric guitar part of this particular track. And this is Get It Up for Love by the Rhinestones. This download actually is available. It's on Quad Traders and on Quadraphonic Underground. But you can see it really good on the guitar when you see the artifact right here. It's your byproduct of your separation. Hear it? I'll show you the other way you can do it. We can also do it the same way that I did the artifact for the drum, which is that high pitch sound. You can also do noise removal and repair this way too. But like I said, you got to be careful with the noise reduction tool, because sometimes you can. That's why I only do 30 dBs at a time, because you can actually, if you do too much, if you overdo it, you can actually affect the music too, which is what you definitely do not want to do. So I usually try to silence it, select it and silence it and fade it if I can. But if I have to, I will just do it this way. And it's just as effective. And there you go. No more artifact. Anyway, alright, we're done with that for now. So what I use is for this demonstration. Let me turn the lights back on so it's going to the computer. You're asking how long it takes me to do a song. Usually between a half hour and 45 minutes. So I have this little USB here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to aim down at the laptop now. Plug this in right here. It's going to come right up. I can go back up to the TV actually. I got the camera, the tripod all out of alignment now, which is okay. You can throw the rhinestone stems back out so we're no longer going to need it. Okay, so here it is. We're just going to do a new folder here. It's going to do 10-14-24 Oreo test. We're going to call it that. And we're going to put the Oreo Speedwagon file down here, which is only going to have one song as of right now. Alright, give me a second here to get my space hooked back up. Alright, go back down here. Alright. We're going to need the oppo now, so we'll go up to HDMI 1. Unplug the HDMI port from the computer because we're not going to be using it the rest of the night. Move my laptop back over here. I think I'm pretty sure it went through. Yep. Good. Safely remove hardware. If you write to a disk, always please safely remove hardware. Don't just unplug it. I have all these CDs here ripped onto a hard drive. It took me months, like probably 8 or 9 months to get through 2,000 fucking CDs. And I did that. I hot docked the hard drive and it wiped everything out. I thought I was going to have to do all that work all over again. By sheer dumb luck, I took it over to Staples and they were able to, it took a week for them to basically, they hook it up and they can recover all your files somehow. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. but it took over a week of that hard drive being hooked up, and a couple $100 later, I got all my music back. Man, I was so glad I didn't have to go through all that again. Such a pain in the ass. I have them all ripped out and lossless. All right, so we got the safely remove hardware. We're gonna plug. I don't know if you is a Blu-ray player in focus. Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm gonna plug this in here to the Oppo 203. Lights up. Hard drive lights up. I'm moving my computer back down to the desk now, if you want to call it that. Unplug my auxiliary. All right. Now we're going to listen to our creation. In all fairness, to be fair, we're going to go through our settings on the Blu-ray player and just make sure I have all the audio levels. I think we're good. Okay. So I have the rear is boosted a little bit because the model of the 11s are a little less efficient. So I actually, when I set that up, I actually made a test tone to test it out. So I'm going to leave my settings alone for now because I don't feel like having to mess with them again later. So we're going to bring these closer again. We can see everything. You can see everything except for the freaking... All right. Anyway, music. Going to be on my one touch drive. If you look here, I'm just gonna hold the phone for a little bit. How about that? Let's make it easy. You guys can see exactly what's going on here. So there's my Oreo test. Tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Roll with the changes. Album art's there, as you can see. And let's see, set a receiver up here. We're gonna need discrete 4-channel. It's in my auxiliary input. Scope is on for audio mode. Yeah, we're good. Everything's set to tone controls are all on flat. All right, let's listen to our creation. The guitars are screaming from the rears. It's very discreet. It sounds amazing. You can see there's, looking at the scope, it is very active, very active. But anyway, that sums it up for now. I will catch you guys, yeah, next video. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. And I can do a follow-up. If there's any more you want to know about the D-Mixer Audacity and how I mix it, let me know. Anyway, there we go. That's it. And that's what it'll look like when you play it. Anyway, guys, hope this is helpful. Hope it was informative. Like I said, not to repeat myself, but any questions, comments, concerns, drop me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If I need to make a follow-up video to show you any more tips and tricks, let me know. That's all you gotta do is let me know. I'm always happy to talk about it.